Good evening, everyone. Have you ever wondered whether or not the one is out there? Whether you can find one person who fits your every need? Well, for this year's belated Valentine's Day, I'm going to explain to you why finding the one is difficult, especially if we define finding the one as finding someone who meets previously ordained expectations that are arbitrarily imposed by societal norms. We are going to do some very rough math now. The population of the Earth is 7.6 billion people. The percentage of those that are male is 50%, so now we have 3.8 billion people left. The percentage of males who are not minors is 70%. We have 2.6 billion left. The percentage of males who are single are 50%. So we have 1.3 billion left. The percentage of men who are of marriageable age and who are childless are 9%. We have 117 million left. The percentage of men who make over 65K a year is 1.7% of the world's population. So we have 2 million men left. The percentage of men who are 6 feet tall or taller are 10%. So we have 200,000 men left. The percentage of men who have a full head of hair is 20%. So now we have 40,000 men left. The percentage of men with no health problems is 5%. So now we have 2,000 left. The percentage of men with their own place is 15%. So we have 300 men left. The percentage of men who drive is 16%. So we have 48 men left. The percentage of men who own their own car is 30%, so we have 14.4 men left. The percentage of men in societies that are monogamous is 17%. We have 2.4 men left. The percentage of men who can both read and write is 80%, so we have 1.9 men left. The percentage of men who actively exercise regularly is 20%. So now we have 0.38 of a man. So as you can see, according to these figures, out of 7.6 billion people, there is less than half of a man who is an adult, who is single, who is childless, who makes decent money, who is over 6 feet tall, who has a full head of hair, who is in perfect health, who lives by himself, who drives, who is literate, and who is physically active. Of course, these figures are the result of random Googling and extrapolation based upon what American society commonly idealizes in men. These figures, of course, also overlap, meaning that these figures could be interpreted far more charitably. Another demonstration of the inaccuracy of this analysis is that some women may say they would be willing to date a man who makes less than $65,000 a year, or who is less than 6 feet tall. Of course, these are all factors that limit the reliability of the figures I've given you, which are very speculative. Even so, these figures do not take into account things such as speaking English, or being of a compatible religion, or not, dietary restrictions, distance, education, race, political affiliation, drug use, smoking, drinking, mental health, body type, and countless other factors that some may deem equally important. Yes, a woman might be willing to date a man who is less than 6 feet tall, but would she be willing to date someone shorter than her? Maybe she would be willing to date someone who makes less than $65,000 a year. But would she be willing to date someone who was less educated and therefore less likely to be able to communicate emotions effectively? All these concepts are interconnected, of course. These figures are unreliable, surely, but they are practically relevant. Do you know anyone who meets all of these basic criteria? I do not know a single soul who meets every single one of these criteria that most of our society would consider basic requirements for a good husband. I've made another video that discussed the validity of common evolutionary explanations for contemporary romantic preferences, frequently bandied about on the internet, especially by advocates of a branch of sexual philosophy called the Red Pill. I've linked this video at the end of this video and in the description. In that video, I explained that a great proportion of women I have dated felt their desire wane upon discovery that I ride a unicycle or play the accordion. I also know other women who've broken up with men because they were mortified to see their love interest wearing bicycle shorts publicly after cycling in a marathon. These basic criteria illustrated above are by no means the only criteria women and men take into consideration when seeking a mate. Women and men alike will frequently disqualify a suitor for having a dog, having a cat, or any combination or lack thereof. For the kinds of movies they enjoy, for the kinds of car they drive, and for the clothes they wear, for the way they decorate a room or don't, for the length of their nails, their hair, their eye color, their hair color, and countless other criteria. If most people sat down and composed a list of every single trait they believed the one would possess, it would be an endless list, with abysmal percentage, just as the information we've derived above. Do you need more convincing? Let us say that somehow, against all odds, such a person does exist. Somehow this outlier is just somewhere out there in the world that everyone has, and that everyone has their perfect match. Dunbar's number claims that the maximum number of people the average individual can know on a meaningful level is about 150 individuals. I believe it because I can name perhaps 5 people on a slap start before I must stop to think of all the people I know. Of course I know more people, but it takes me a while to remember all their names. So I would say that that number is at least relevant, if not accurate. If we've shown that out of over 7 billion people, only a decimal of a man meets the criteria for a conservative ideation of the perfect husband or perfect man, what are the chances that he is within your particular network of friends? If you can only know 150 people meaningfully, and you are a woman, chances are that most of the people you know are also women. Are you sure that the men in the bushel of men that remain are single, within an age range you would date, let alone perhaps vegan, or like dogs, or like being the big spoon, or put the knives in the dishwasher the right way up? Let's go even a step further. Let's say that this Mr. Right does exist, despite all the odds, and you have the fortune to find in your little bushel of male single acquaintances a man with all the right basic qualifications, a man who likes cute cat videos as much as you do, and who supports XYZ political narratives, and laughs at the same memes as you do, all within your 1.8 millionth of the world that compromises your local dating scene. Surely this man, like you, has his own set of dating criteria. If a percent of a man is all that remains out of 7 billion people, and you do happen to find him within your town, within your social group, what are the chances that you will fit his equally stringent criteria?